Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Love Island USA coverage here on the We Know Love Island podcast. Today, we'll breaking down the rest of week 3 of Love Island USA season 7. And Meg the Stallion's here. Oh, wait, no, couldn't make it to the podcast. But
Ugh,
and so is Scally. Scally, how are you?
don't tease me. Hello, hello. I'm doing so good. You know what? If she can't be here, I'm so glad that we get to talk about her. I feel like this was a very fun stretch of Love Island USA, a little bit of a calmer stretch in some, not as much drama, but I think that was very much needed at this
We
point.
needed a palate cleanser before we go into Casa Amor. So I think that this was that. It was that perfect little, lemon sorbet between courses. I'm happy with it. But here's the thing, okay? Meg the Stallion watches Love Island. Like, she knows their names. She knew the references. We have the same favorite moment of the season, Mamacita. And so now I'm like, imagine if she listens to podcasts about Love Island. She could, in theory. What if she's listening? Meg, if you're listening, we love you.
That's too much pressure. I'm not going to be able to handle that. So I'm going to need to forget about that. But she should let me know. But otherwise, I don't know. This was a good stretch. There was some stuff to get into before. Obviously, as we left off, we just left Jalen. He is going home to 1 million TikTok followers, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's actually wild because he posted his like 500K picture, like video, which is so cute. Like, that man blew up the balloons, got the cake, took the picture, like set up the tripod. So sweet. And by the time I saw that video, he had already hit 1 million followers.
Yep.
So Jalen's going to be fine. He's going to get brand deals. That new passport will be put to good use. And honestly, he was, from what we know, maybe too good for this show anyway. So
Yeah. Look,
he
I'm
can go have
glad
like a nice life.
there was a lot of people. I mean, lots of people are questioning the male bombshells this season, and I felt like people were doing so with Jalen, and I felt like that was undeserved. So I'm glad to see that opinion has turned around and people are liking him properly. But the other half of that is Jalen going home meant that Huda stayed, and Huda's having conversations, thanking everybody for voting for her to stay.
Yes, it's, they did it for her. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ace is very much like, no, that was for Taylor.
Yeah. Even at one point, I was like, did he just say like that was an anti-Jalen vote? No, I think it was pro Taylor. Even Taylor is like, look, moving forward, you guys need to be completely separate. I did not do this vote just for you to start talking again. I don't even want to hear your names in a sentence together. I believe Ace says to Jeremiah at one point. So this is a stance that the entire Villa has taken. We need to take what we've learned, move on, grow, and never, ever, ever, ever have what happened happen again.
Yeah, like we cannot do this. Huda still at the start of it all is kind of like, Jeremiah fucked me over from the beginning. It's like, stop it. No. And everyone's like, no, we're not doing that. Absolutely not. She does pinky swear, which is legally binding.
Please.
Listen, she also, okay. Jeremiah and Iris are like chatting after the recoupling and like the elimination and everything, and they're just happy to finally feel joy. And Huda, of course, comes in to pull Jeremiah.
That's the thing. It changes real quick. She goes from like, look, okay, yeah, Taylor, I understand we don't need this petty shit, but like Jeremiah lied to me and he picked her and I can't trust him. Now I know this. So of course we gotta have Huda come in, interrupt Iris and Jeremiah, have a little conversation. And I will give her credit. The tone of the conversation was better than
Yes.
it's been ever before.
It was. And she also like didn't immediately pull him the second he started. Like, he actually did get to talk to Iris for a bit before she came in, which is a lot more respectful than what we've seen in the past, which is really good. And she says that she just wants to have some closure. Like, we caused toxicity in the house and that has to end. And
which I don't think Jeremiah is ready to accept his half of this. And I, can argue based on whose experience you lived, how much we got to see in the edit, exactly what percentage is due to each person. But they both did contribute. Jeremiah, at least like Huda is coming around and being like, yes, some things were wrong. I was activated and pushed into those things, but some things I did were wrong. And Jeremiah, I don't think fully sees how he contributed to this yet.
No, and he's only been in therapy 2 years, so he might need a little bit more to fully get to that point of understanding his place. But he definitely, like, anytime I start feeling like, oh no, like Jeremiah is like really not that bad. I'm like, oh right, but remember when she was literally crying and weeping and he did not comfort her, but he did spray her bed with his cologne so that she would have to smell him? Hmm.
Can we talk about their hug goodbye? Because Jeremiah's
We have
like, I'm
to.
going to be declining chats in the future, but their hug goodbye, Huda's arms are draped around his neck. They are staring into each other's eyes. I was like, don't kiss, please
Oh
don't
no,
kiss.
they are not staring into each other's eyes. She is staring at his lips, thinking he's gonna kiss her. She really,
Ah!
but it's not like she leaned in, so I think it's fine. And like, even after all that's happened, I understand why she would maybe want him to kiss her in that moment. Thankfully, they did not.
Look, I think sometimes it's just like your body language forms habits. You
Yeah,
are used to holding someone in such a way, but this was concerning. I think very glad that Taylor came to the door and was like,
that was
please don't do
no.
this.
I loved when it was like starting to get a little heated at the start, and then Taylor came over like, "Hello," and I was like, "No, no, no, I'm being calm. I'm being calm," and then did calm down. So
Yes.
we love
Yes.
that for everyone in that villa because they had a very sour week.
And I will say I'm also very glad that not only the men are like talking to Huda, but I will say particularly Sierra and Amaya did a good job talking to Huda this week. Amaya, like a little bit before bed, is just like, we just sent someone home. I think it was super inappropriate of you to talk to Jeremiah. And I think she basically was like, not, we just sent someone home, like, wait. I think it was like, we just sent someone home so that you could move on. And you're making us question if we sent the wrong person home already.
And she was right for that. And then the next morning, Sierra's like, you have to want better for yourself. Like we've saved you twice. We cannot save you a third time unless you are really showing, growth and wanting something else and better for yourself.
Yeah, she tells her straight out, like, I almost voted for Jalen to stay because I just don't know if I see that you can move forward yet. This morning seems better, but I need you to do something different. To which, when Huda starts, like, it's really hard seeing Jeremiah and Iris. I was like, don't freaking start. Like, don't start
Yeah.
this. But I think Sierra, like, talks her out of it. This is not someone that you, like, see a path, like, with, okay, yeah, not all of your proudest moments have been in this villa, but it's not who you are. We need to, like, I'll be here for you. We need to move forward and not continue that pattern of behavior.
Yeah, and I really loved it because it was super gentle. Like it wasn't accusatory or rude or being like you were so wrong and everything you did was so wrong. It was really like, yep, you did
Yeah,
some things that I'm sure you regret and we're not the best, but let's move forward and be better because that's all we can do. And I mean, Huda really does, for the most part, really chill out
completely.
in the
I
rest of this, which is so good.
I think the timing of things were great for this. My only question is this the end of Jeremiah and Huda?
I don't know. I don't know. I could definitely see them getting back together.
I think it is the end until potentially post Casa Amor. Like, I think that they will firmly go away, and then I think that there is a chance where they're sitting in Casa, not connecting with anyone else. Jeremiah, like, if he, definitely doesn't seem to be connecting with Iris. They're talking about how this is like definitely a friendship thing for the both of them at this point. If they don't find anybody else, I could see a, like, who I kind of miss, and that creating problems again in the future. I'm hoping it probably doesn't happen as long as we keep having other interesting stuff go on.
Yeah, if they weren't going to rekindle before Casa and then cheat on each other, I'm less interested in the
Yes.
rekindling.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't know, maybe that makes me toxic, but listen, I'm watching a program.
Look, have I claimed not to be? So
True.
glad that that is over. But before the challenge, we do have some other conversations. It's
Yes.
mostly catch ups. I feel like honestly, I could pretty much skip them. Like,
Yeah, it's really just
know,
everyone being like happy that they're in their couples and feeling good about the couples that they're in.
I do have one thing to bring up actually.
Okay, bring it up.
For a while, people on Love Island have been, especially this season, very, should I say, prude. People didn't want to even kiss in the first night. People were not cuddling. Oh, I'm not the type to cuddle right away. I need to
No, and
make sure I
what do you
like
mean I'm not the
you.
type to cuddle? Shut up.
But Kirsten, we saw something happen on TV that I wasn't prepared for.
Okay, yes, you're correct. So Hannah and Pepe are in a couple still. They had the door situation happen. They picked each other. And we see a bedtime scene of Hannah licks her whole hand and that hand goes under the blankets and then there is motion.
I think she touched Pepe's pee-pee. So
I think more than that. I think there was full penetration.
Oh yeah, I feel like yes. It was a lot. I didn't expect to see the spit start on Love Island so graphically, but look, this is not, like we've said, it's not Love Island UK early seasons, but there was definite thrusting going on. I was pretty shocked, and it is talked about. I think neither of them thought that this was going to happen so fast, but just all of a sudden. And this is like, guys, Charlie's body's not cold yet. Like, this is Hannah was hysterical 2 days ago.
Like Charlie might still be in Fiji.
No, I think he is. He's going to be on the After Sun. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
not watching this season anymore. I can't do it. Like, I just was declaring my love for this person who apparently has forgotten I exist. And you know what? Good for Hannah. I'm happy.
Yeah, and 100% good for her. Get yours. It's not like her connection with Charlie was so serious that there was ever like a contemplating that leaving with him. So it's like whatever, it's all fair game. And this makes sense because when Pepe came in, they had an immediate physical connection. They were making out all over the place, and so it makes sense to me that physical connection would only be made stronger by sleeping in the same bed and hanging out all day. But it does seem pretty clear to me that there isn't much emotionally there. Like Hannah says in confessional, like, oh, well, we'll keep working on building an emotional connection.
Yeah. She's like, we're going to definitely work on building an emotional connection, and then we will work on strengthening our physical connection. Like, yeah, there's building blocks already in the physical, but the emotional, we're starting from scratch.
And I just kind of get the vibe that like Pepe is not going to be emotional with pretty much anyone. TBH is the vibe I get, or maybe like Hannah's just not the one, or no one in the villa right now is the one that he would feel like an emotional connection with, and maybe someone else is his person that will come in. But like, I don't think
know.
Hannah and Pepe are in it for the long haul.
I'm not betting on their engagement by any means, but I do think that they were decent. The conversation where Pepe's like, look, there'll be a million things I don't like about you, and you won't like a million things about. I was like, a million? Like, that's so many.
Hannah said, a million?
Yeah. Like, okay. Didn't think I was that unlikable. But I think in general, they're cute. I'm not mad at it. I'm just happy that people are fucking on Love Island again. Like,
Iconic king.
Bring it back. I'm sorry. I'm more likely to vote for you. But I don't know. I am enjoying Hannah and Pepe to a degree. I will admit that they jumped up my rankings a little bit.
Well, they're not the only couple that had sex in this batch of episodes.
True.
Because Sierra and Nick also had some fun in the bedroom. I feel like their clip
Uh-huh.
was less graphic.
Well, no one spit into anyone's hands, so I would agree
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. That is, listen, we one thing we know about Hannah, she be spitting, okay?
That is true. I forgot about this. Wow, not the first time Hannah spit on someone at this
It's
juncture.
honestly, huck to a who.
No. We move on. But at least Nick and Sierra's gets discussed a little bit more, where Shelly is like, how is your morning? And Sierra blatantly is like, so why are you asking? Okay,
Yeah.
couldn't sleep. Nick talks to Ace, and Nick says it was the best 25 seconds of his life.
He's like, it was so short, I had to apologize.
Which, look, good for him. He says, he's like, he's getting to the point where he's not closed off. He's still going to go through the motions and have those conversations, but he's realizing he's pretty happy where he's at.
He knows where home is, okay? And even like both of them talk in confession about how they did not intend to have full sex so fast, but it felt right in the moment, and they're not going to let that take away from their full Love Island experience, which to me shoots them right up my chart as well.
I had been really liking Nick and Sierra individually, and I
Yes.
was like just waiting for something that would make me feel like I could say that they were firmly my favorite couple at the moment. And while I like other people very much as individuals still, Nick and Sierra are my favorite couple currently.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on that. Just from like really seeming like a couple and all that. One other thing just to cue up is that Ace and Shelly had their first night together.
It's true.
And Shelly does mention right away, like, oh, I thought we would be cuddling a lot more than we did. So I feel like Ace is perhaps continuing a pattern of like really making someone like them, coupling up with them, and then cooling off a bit, which is not great.
Look, Ace has talked about how he does not jump to cuddling. He's not super affectionate, super fast. And I feel like Shelly is somewhat on that wavelength, but I think that she's not necessarily looking to make out around the villa at all times in front of everyone. But I think in the privacy of their bed, as much privacy as you get in Love Island
Yeah.
in a bed, she is down to be doing some cuddling. And I think that that will change. Can we talk about the rumors of Shelly and Ace outside of the show?
I'm sorry. It's just so like we knew they follow each other on Instagram, and once again, if they were scamming, they would not have mentioned it at all in the first episode of this season. They would have just acted like they were immediately connected and would have coupled up and locked in fast and like marched to the end. There's no way that they would be putting on this like elaborate ruse. And I know there's like a screenshot of a close friend's Instagram story going around that's like they were dating the whole time. No, literally I could make that. I can make that post to my close friends, and then you could screenshot it and
Yep.
post it and be like, "Oh, look at this." Like it's just come
For
on.
me, I don't think they're actively scamming. I don't think they were dating. The one like smoking gun for me is the TikTok live where Ace is getting a bunch of men to help him say Happy Valentine's Day, Shelly. So that is
No, but that was in like a series. He was doing a bunch of like cameos. So that's not the only Happy Valentine's
oh,
video, is what
gotcha.
I have been informed of. So it's actually
See?
not quite as damning as it
Not so
seemed at
damning.
first.
Because I was like, Ace is not willing to cuddle. So if he's saying Happy Valentine's Day to someone, they're talking to some degree. But if it is a series that did not come across my desk, I'm glad we cleared this up, because I think a lot of people probably are still under the impression that they're fully scamming, which I was not there, but I'm glad we cleared it all up.
Yeah, I think we can remove the tinfoil hats. I think that like
For
they
now.
would for you're right, for now. I think we would just be seeing their relationship progressing so much more in a real way. And like if you've been dating someone for a year, it's pretty hard to pretend like you
Yeah.
aren't,
At
you
no
know?
point did I think it was that. I thought like
Yep.
maybe they were talking at one point, fell out of touch, and then came back in, if anything. But I was kind of
Yep.
off of that wavelength days ago. So
And like that is possible. But like
yeah,
I don't if they were talking, they certainly weren't talking about scamming Love Island. Another thing
no.
to remember too is like Ace is 22 and Shelly is like 27. I just don't
I would think it would
know.
be a bigger problem if it ever came up, but it's always been kind of obvious that they're each other's number one. So I don't know if I am betting on long term success out of the
Yeah.
villa, given that age gap, given the location gap. But I am still thinking that they definitely have a lot of chemistry.
I mean, we've also seen similar age gaps on reality
Sure.
TV that work out just fine.
That is true.
So it really just depends. Me personally, at 27, I wouldn't want to be in the same room as a 22-year-old. So Love Island would have been my nightmare. But
Love.
thankfully, I would have never been cast anyway. So it's fine.
Can we talk about Meg the Stallion?
Yes. Oh my God. So the day of Thursday's episode, I did see that Love Island posted a picture of like, it was obviously Meg's hand holding the phone.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, Meg the Stallion, Meg the Stallion. She comes in. This is like a Hot Girl Summer Swimwear collab, which is Meg the Stallion's company that just started this year, I believe. And she comes in while all the girls are getting ready in the dressing room and has like a proper girls chat with them. She's like dropping their names, dropping the lore.
This was my favorite, and I think that giving it time to build up was actually probably even better, because they do get a text earlier in the day saying Megan the Stallion is coming in, get ready, you're gonna get bathing suits, like we're gonna have a challenge tonight. And when Meg walks in the dressing room, everyone freaks the hell out. They are just absolutely losing their mind, especially when she starts dropping their names, talking about different storylines they have. Ask Alandria, I gotta know, what's the routine for that ass? Because and it's all genetics, it came from genetics. So it was very, very funny. I think having a big celebrity comes on the show who actually watches it, like, it was a very fun experience.
So fun. She also, I feel like, helped get Huda together as well. Like, she really was like, Huda stands 10 toes down. If she had 20 toes, those toes would be down. But also was like, Huda, like, I'd love to see you happy. I'd love to see you smiling. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I wonder if they were like, okay, Meg, you can say anything except for way too much about the Huda Jeremiah situation, because I feel like I would have been very tempted to go in and be like, you need to change this and this. So it was a much gentler hand for sure, but I thought this was still super fun. I think this is the type of thing that we would usually see very late in a season, where it's like, oh,
Mhm.
here's some DJ coming in to DJ a party, and you'd bring in a celebrity in that way. And usually at that point, we're like, okay, I maybe don't know who this is that well, or don't have that much interest in this person. But, and also, like, can we just end the season by now? But I thought this
Yeah.
was so well timed in that we really needed like a fun day in the villa. We needed a break. We needed to chill out. Obviously, we know who Megan Thee Stallion is. And so it was a much better version of what we usually get.
Yes, agree completely. It was so fun. And just like, you could just tell she really loves and watches the show. And she in confessional is literally like, Mommy, Mamacita, which
I
is
did.
my current like sleep paralysis demon, is that conversation. I can't stop thinking about it.
It's the number one. I did see Ariana and Meg did a TikTok as well to the
Yeah.
audio. So it's going around.
And it was so beautiful and important to me personally. But that's fine. So after this wonderful, beautiful conversation with all the women, they go down into the backyard all together. Megan walks in first, and it is really funny. Ace immediately starts doing push-ups. He's like 900, 915. Like, I laughed.
Like, Shelly, watch out. Ace is moving on already. We got
Well,
problems.
I bet he'd cuddle Meg the Stallion.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
here's the other thing. Okay. We talked in that first episode about how Ace claimed to be 5'10", and that's average. What do you mean, short king? That man is not 5'10".
No.
That man is Ace back to back with me right now. I want to see something.
We should have known that was Tinder rules. Kind of
Yeah, I just
subtract a couple
like,
inches.
you're gonna be on TV. Why? Like,
Which,
it's
like,
so crazy to lie about. Like,
who
who
cares what his
cares?
height is? It's the lying that's odd.
Yes, exactly.
So, oh well. But Meg's here. She's going to be hosting a challenge, which
Yes.
has 3 rounds. The first round being a head-to-head twerk off between the men and the women. How do they do?
I think some people did phenomenal. I think Huda won a lot of goodwill with the fan base with this twerking routine. I saw someone say those are not civilian moves, and I think they might be onto something.
She is just going so hard to the point where I was like, pack it up. Like, we're done. No
Like,
one
it's
needs to
over.
go.
It's
It's the
literally over.
what are we doing here? Yeah, no. Huda knew what she was doing. She is very proud of herself. But I will say, Ace responds with tons of effort.
He tried, but I don't think anyone could have, like, no amount of effort is gonna match Huda's skill and precision in
And
in a head-to-head twerk off.
look, I think Ace was very entertaining. I thought he had great moves. Twerking, it was not, but it was still very entertaining. So I think he did his absolute best effort. Otherwise, we have like Amaya versus Austin. Austin looks like a chicken whose head was cut off, but his body's still moving.
It's
Um,
okay. Austin put in the effort, arguably
sure.
more effort than Ace, perhaps. And I just think it's like you don't often see those kinds of moves at all. But also on someone
Because
so
we don't want
tall
to.
and lanky, it was so. I thought it was like hateful to Amaya that Austin got the point on that, because like Amaya did a good job. Was she Huda? No, she did a good job.
I think it's the type of thing where, like, okay, none of these boys are going to win a twerking competition in their swim trunks. Like, okay, put them in proper twerking attire, please. But that was not done. And
I mean,
so,
honestly, twerking contest or not, they should be getting the men in some different attire. Let's be clear.
so it was very clear from the start. And so I think you like, look, you got to stretch the imagination. Did Austin do well? No. Did he do enough to beat Amaya? Also, no, but we're going to pretend like he did.
Yeah. Then we get Alondria versus Nick. And listen, I don't know if we've talked enough about Alondria's booty on this season of Love Island. It is like the 8th wonder of the modern world.
Shelly says it moves like water, and she's not lying.
She is correct. Damn. Just crazy. Nick does try. He gets right up in Meg's face to try to shake his little booty.
Yep.
And he does mention, like, I don't have a big butt. I'm working with what I've got, and that's the best I can do. And I respect that from him.
That's exactly it for me. I feel like all of the guys put in a ton of effort, where I feel like it would be really easy to just be like, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to do this. But everyone goes pretty all out in these challenges, which I appreciate.
They tried. We need to talk about Shelly and
Shelly
Megan, who
just
need to be a couple.
twerking on Meg. Like, okay, yeah, just dance on Megan the Stallion. Sure, why not?
It's fine when it's Shelly.
That's fine. And then Taylor comes out in some pretty similar moves to Austin, honestly.
I mean, we've been seeing Taylor. His move is he leans, and I feel like that translated to his quote twerking.
It was bad, like, really bad.
It was funny. The show correctly did not include Hannah and Iris in this section of the competition.
I'm wondering if it just was like nothing notable to show, or if it was like, okay, you guys will do limbo instead.
I mean, I just think if they did have the opportunity to twerk, it probably wouldn't hit the way. Like, how are you gonna follow Huda Laundry? Come on.
A very high bar was set. I'm not blaming
Yeah.
anyone for not being able to shoot for the stars. So
Yeah.
it
It's
was a tough one. But we
yeah.
do follow this up with limbo question mark because
Yeah.
this was
No.
not limbo.
You are supposed to like lean back in limbo and like walk. Like you can't these people are like crawling. They are just everything is wrong. They're really bad at it. Even breaking all the rules. Like
Yes, even breaking all the rules, somehow two of the women managed to knock over the bar, and so the men do win this, but the men are like army crawling under this. Like, sir, every single part of your body is touching the ground that's not supposed to. So, for someone who's very competitive like me, I'm like, why are we even doing this if we're just not going to play by any of the rules? But I understand this is a fun based moment and not a competition based moment, but I still was like, maybe we could have figured something else out that was more fun and did have rules.
You know what's fun? Winning and playing by the rules.
Real. Do you even feel good about this? Do you even?
I mean, I wouldn't. I would feel bad about it if that was the situation I was in. Then they put together a puzzle of the bombshells that are coming in. So we have TJ, who's 23, lives in Tampa, Florida. He says he's the whole package.
I have some questions on that, but
I have like package of what? First of all, he
troubling Instagram follows.
I need to. Yeah, I was gonna say I need to be extremely upfront before we even say anything else about TJ. I'm extremely anti TJ because he follows Andrew Tate, and his best friend said, "Oh, his type is submissive brunettes," which is a crazy thing to think, let alone say, let alone your best friend to say to the world. I think he's a bad man, and so I would like him to be gone, and I'm mad that he is not eligible to be voted out.
Usually there's not a lot of success for the Islanders that come in right before Casa, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I feel like we could lose someone who's fun instead of someone who I don't care about.
Yeah,
so
I'm scared.
Yep. And then we have Andreina, who comes in. She's 24, from Jersey, born in Spain, but she herself is Dominican. And she's mentioning Jeremiah, Nick, and Ace as her early targets.
And why did they do the twerking contest before she got here?
Real.
Like, what are we doing?
Real. She walked in and I was like, oh, finally some competition.
Exactly. Right. So Jeremiah is like very blatantly like, yeah, my type is you, essentially.
Yes. He's like, oh, I like foreign women. I like Latino women. She's like, okay. Which, like, okay, Jeremiah, we get it. But also, like, it is him just listing every single trait about her, which and he's like, no, this is genuinely, I've been saying this since the beginning. I've been saying it since the beginning. Okay, Jeremiah, whatever.
No,
Even
but
though
that
I
doesn't
can
make
see
it
working.
No, that does not make it good. Like,
Agreed.
I'm sorry, that's a crazy. That's all you can say about your quote type is crazy.
Yeah, look, it's not great. I can kind of see it working though so far.
Yeah, I do think that they seem to be very into each other. They seem to be each other's, physical type. They're getting along. It does seem like a much better match than Jeremiah and Iris, TBH. And I feel bad for Iris because she's had a rough situation in the villa. Like, she came into play, we embroiled her in controversy, and now like no one seems to really be trying to get to know her.
Yeah, I just don't think it was going to be like a successful run for Iris, kind of no matter what happened. At least at this point, she's coming in, and for better or worse, it seems like she and TJ are connecting decently. They do share a kiss on this first night, I believe. So it is clicking a little bit there.
And that's bad.
For better or worse, they are connecting.
But here's the thing. TJ says he's from Tampa, but he's actually from Westchester.
Yep. So he is. He's from Westchester, New York. That is very true. Grew up playing baseball. He's telling all this to Sierra, and he tells Sierra, "Wow, you look a lot better in person than on camera."
crazy. Like that. And this is the type of game you get when it's a 23-year-old man.
Yeah, and she's immediately calls it out, like, "Oh, so I look bad on camera?" And he's like, "No, that's not what I was saying." It's like, well, it's exactly how you phrased it. So, yep,
Wild. I do not like that. But yeah, your Iris does tell TJ that she feels more of a friendship with Jeremiah,
yeah.
and that it's
Look, it wasn't happening. Well, how could you not when Jeremiah's like, she's not my type at all. I'm not interested, and all of that gets leaked back to her. Like, I would also probably be thinking this is a friendship thing at that point.
I really the what I'm dying for is that we have not seen like Huda and Iris really talking that out of Huda being like, at this point in time, we had this conversation and Jeremiah said this to me and then went and chose your door. So like be careful. But unfortunately, because of Huda's crash out, I think she's just such an unreliable narrator that no one would necessarily believe her, even though I mean Jeremiah didn't say exactly what Huda reported back, but it was close enough.
Yeah, that is true. Look, it was honestly probably a little more accurate than most of the things that Hunter reports
Yeah.
back. So, fair enough there. I will say, props to Huda for not calling a female bombshell every bad name in the book for the first time.
Hey,
Growth. Look, we have
look at
changed.
look at the growth. But that's because she's shifted gears and she's now going to try to connect with Pepe.
Yep, apparently this is a thing. And I've seen people online vaguely shipping this because Pepe, I believe, has some TikToks or something where he's like, screw dating. I'm trying to find a wife. Like, I'll wife someone up in 3 weeks. Like, I don't care. And everyone's like, Huda, we found your man. This is your
Okay.
man. So,
I don't know about that. Especially okay, so but here's what's funny. Pepe and Hannah are sitting together at the bar and Huda just walks up and goes, "Hey Pepe, can I steal you for a chat?"
yep.
And Hannah's like, what?"
And Pepe's like, I don't even know why she's pulling me. Like, I'm wondering if Pepe's like, is she gonna plan a surprise for Hannah, or like, what's going on? Does she need my help in something? Because
Yeah.
why is she pulling me? This is very abnormal. Huda and Hannah are very good friends.
Yeah, Hannah has really been there for Huda through all of the drama and everything. And so I respect that Huda is trying to really play the game. The way she pulled Pepe is wild, but also like we've seen like Hannah got really upset when Charlie started pulling women in front of her. And so I think like the fact that it happened right in front of her salad truly is a bit much.
Yeah, look, Amaya would never, but at the same time, who is Huda supposed to talk to? She says, like, TJ's cool, but I just think it's like a friendship vibe. I don't think that I am really his type. And she says she noticed, like, when Pepe first walked in, he was just looking at her a ton, but he never really pulled her. They do seem to connect like a tiny bit, but I don't think stuff is here, and I'm wondering if that is just like Pepe doesn't want to get involved in the drama, and both from the Huda and Hannah are friends, and also from all of the drama that he has seen surrounding Huda and Jeremiah previously, or if he likes Hannah too much. Like, I don't know what exactly is
Pepe
keeping him away.
straight up says, attractive is attractive, but I'm about personality and I don't normally go for big personality. I like calm and relaxed. And he kind of couches it in a like even Hannah has more of a personality than he normally goes for, to
Yeah.
which I say, this is a red flag. What do you mean?
Look, I will say, yeah, I do think it's weird. I think personality is a weird word. I think maybe like in terms of what they enjoy. Like, I do think that Hannah is very, very bubbly, wants to like be hanging out all the time, and is like a very fun person. Where I think he is more of a like chill, lay back, not necessarily go out all the time or like do stuff constantly. And I think that maybe they're slightly mismatched in that way. But if Hannah is a mismatch in that way, then you know that Huda is a mismatch in
I
that way.
but like Hannah and Pepe just sit around all day and then have sex at night. What do you mean she's like it's too much?
I would say that is the edit of what we see from Hannah. I do think, like, as a person, when we get to see Hannah in conversations, think about like Hannah and Pepe first starting. Like, she is fun, she's spunky. She just doesn't get to show it on the show all that much.
Yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. Um, but it's like the conversation's fine. Like Pepe's like, yeah, yeah, I'm open to conversations, but like
Not
I
with
want
you,
to be
essentially, is the
respectful of him.
undertone.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Like a very kind rejection, which is nice.
I don't think that Huda knows it was a rejection though, because it wasn't out and out one, and so there is that conversation there. Hannah is annoyed though, because Huda did not talk to her before pulling Pepe.
And I think Hannah's fair to be a little annoyed, but it's fine. And Pepe goes straight to Hannah and tells her about the whole conversation. So I think that this will ultimately blow over pretty easily. Like they do, Hannah and Huda have a conversation the next day of like, I really wish you'd pulled me. And Huda's basically like, oh, I'm just so new to this because I never pulled anyone the whole time. I didn't know the rules. And it's like, okay, girl.
No, this one I hated, because we'll talk about the challenge, but like in that challenge, the singles had to pick someone to compete with, and Huda forgot that you make out with the person that you pick. How could she have ever remembered that after seeing 7 other couples go and do the same exact challenge?
Yeah, it's like, okay, girl. What are
I
we
don't
doing
believe
here?
you, but also like everyone else is making out with everyone in this challenge, and I think that Pepe got made out with by a couple people, and Huda had kept being like, it's fine if my friends make out with Jeremiah, I don't care. So then why are you apologizing if this is fine?
It's almost like some cognitive dissonance in the Love Island USA villa.
That's
Crazy.
strange. But look, I don't think that this is really going anywhere. I don't blame Huda, because I don't think that she has a whole bunch of other options. I think basically just got to get her to Casa Amor and see if anything's there for her at this
Yeah,
point.
100%. And
Just is what it is.
I think they'll be fine. Their friendship will be fine and everything will be fine. I think that the separation from Pepe will really do a lot of good things for the friendship.
Yep. I will say, let's talk about Alandria and Taylor. I don't think that there is a whole bunch this week. You know, Alandria, I
Yeah.
honestly think maybe talked to Meg more than she talks to Taylor in this stretch.
And had more chemistry with Meg.
Yep. So there is a conversation, though, that I think we should talk about where Alandria and Taylor talk about his day in the life on the farm. And Taylor talks about how, like, I get up in the morning and I do this chore, and then 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 I go to bed, and then I do every single thing the same exact for 7 days a week. And I thought maybe this would be Alandria being like, ooh, I don't know if I could do this, because that is maybe not exactly the life that I am living at this moment. But she seems like she's considering it.
I mean, she likes a country boy, and I think that this is the type of activity that comes from being an actual country boy and not just like a cowboy cosplayer, right? And like they do talk about going to the club, but I don't know.
It seems like it's an
I'd rather go to a
infrequent
day
thing.
party.
Yeah, please, day parties are where it's at. She's so right for that one.
So
but
correct.
How is Taylor going to go to a day party when he is like in the stables 7 days a week?
I think he can have a day off. Like he got to leave for Love Island for how many weeks? He can have a day off to go to a day party.
That's fair. That's fair. It seems tough. It is not the life I would choose to live. Personally.
No. Did you know that allegedly Taylor was on a reality show that filmed that did not get released?
Yes, he was on another reality show, brought in late because supposedly all of the other men were too boring. So we had to spice it up with Taylor's exciting personality.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it was supposed to be kind of like a Vanderpump Rules type thing, but working like on a ranch. And like, there's a lot of hard work on the ranch that needs to get done. Like in a restaurant, okay, someone doesn't get their drink, whatever. But like on the ranch, there's like actual hard work that needs to be done. I'm not surprised that was super boring.
And supposedly he was in a little bit of a showmance there too, which also developed extremely slowly. And I've seen he's like mutual friends with Tyler Cameron from The Bachelor, and Tyler's like, this is just how he is. He moves really, 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 really slow. So it's making me question the connection between Taylor and Alandria less, but it is not making me any more interested in it.
Have you seen the conspiracy theories that he has a girlfriend outside the villa?
I have seen this. I've seen his friends deny it. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into it because I feel like every year at this point, we just get like
Yeah.
13 different TikTok accounts that claim to know these people that don't.
Yeah.
So if I see like solid evidence, then I will give it more credence. But as of right now, I don't know. I think that they are connecting in a way that's cute for now, but does not inspire me for the future. And so it makes it hard to get super invested as much as I like Alandria.
Yeah, I like Alandria a lot. And like I don't dislike Taylor. I just really feel like I don't know anything about him because he
Just
doesn't
neutral.
really get featured on the show that much. I it's fine if he really moves that slow and that's how he is. Like whatever, move how you move. But to me, I'm like, it's been 3 weeks and you're still this, like your connection is just so far behind at this point that like I don't have faith in it becoming deep enough to be a contender to win Love Island halfway through the season. And I think that Alandria could be primed for someone who's going to move a little bit faster. Like she's a slow burn too, but at a point you have to wonder what's a slow burn and what's a lack of interest. And I would like to see someone who really shows interest that she's also interested in come in for Casa.
I think if I was betting, I think that I would bet on them staying together the whole way through. I don't think that they're going to switch it up at this point. I would be happy to see Alandria explore in Casa and Taylor for that matter, but I think that they will still end up together. And I have seen Love Island winners where it is truly just we all stand this woman and that man happens to be coupled with her. So it is possible they could win.
Yeah.
It's just I feel slightly more invested in, let's say, a Nick and Sierra at this moment.
Yes, I agree completely. It's just like and even then, like they haven't shown us enough to fully invest even in Nick and Sierra.
Yep.
Do we have to talk about this challenge?
I think we should, at least in passing. I did not even bother to talk about who's making out with who. Essentially, everyone's making out with the new bombshells. Hood is making out with Pepe. Like, there's not a lot here. But the challenge is called What's Your Beef? For anyone that did not see, the women will guide the men in a blindfolded wheelbarrow position around a course. They'll bob for the island outside of their couple that they're going to kiss. They have a milking station where they have to transfer milk between their mouths. And then they have a little romp on a picnic blanket. Nick gets really, really, really into the milking station.
I can't speak on this challenge because I watched it between my fingers and kind of turned away. Because if anyone's new to watching Love Island and new to listening to the recaps, the one thing you need to know about me is that I am so disgusted by any time they have to spit one thing from one person's mouth into the other and then into a container. I think it is the most disgusting thing they do on Love Island. They've gotten rid of so many bad challenges, but they just refuse to let this die. It's so disgusting. And especially it being milk. Like, and I'm not even a milk hater. I'm like probably one of the most pro drinking milk fully grown adults that you're gonna meet behind like David from Survivor 48. And I like just the concept of milk. I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it. It's just like that is out of all the things to transfer in that way, milk is probably one of the top grossest I can think of. Second only to what like yogurt.
The meme part of my brain was thinking about making about 17 different GIFs of Nick slapping the udders, suckling at the teat of the udders, like doing many very different graphic positions with the udders. He was really having a great time to himself. And as much as it was making the other Islanders laugh, it made me laugh as well. But so much of this is just like, we're going through the motions. I didn't even think that the questions stirred up that much drama. They seem to have pretty obvious answers.
Well, and it's even like the one question, who do you think is full of bull? And like Huda gets chosen for that. And even that doesn't even faze her because she's like a new, better Huda who just doesn't react.
Well, it's just like Jeremiah and Huda have had so much drama that obviously they're going to be the targets of almost every question. It's like, who's making the biggest mistake, who is like full of bull, who is planting drama and watch it grow. And it's just like Jeremiah and Huda, Jeremiah and Huda, Jeremiah and Huda, over and over
Yeah.
and over. So it is like them for the vast majority. And then the other ones are like, who's the biggest like commitment chicken? It's like, yeah, Ace, we get it. Nothing is new here.
Yeah. I want more. It's so funny. I was talking to a friend of the pod, Mari Forth, earlier
Okay.
this week, because
Jealous.
I like before we knew that Casa was like definitely coming next week, I was like, I think it's gonna be Casa. Like the timeline adds up. I think it's gonna be. And she was like, it's so like early. Like, what are they gonna do? Like before Casa, what kind of challenges would they even do? Like, what another kissing challenge? And I was like, they're gonna spit in each other's mouths, Mari. And I was right, and I wish I wasn't right.
They're gonna do that at Casa
Thankfully,
again, so they
thankfully
will. They
we
do
at
it with the
least
drink making.
yeah, no, you're correct,
Mhm.
and I hate that for us, for my eyes and my brain. But thankfully we at least got the Meg challenge with the twerking and stuff to be again like a palate cleanser
Yes.
between all the like Ucky challenges.
Yep. 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 And so we've talked a little bit about Nick and Sierra, but I feel like Nick and Sierra are both making inroads with these new bombshells.
And I hate it.
Don't mess with my Nick and Sierra. I don't like
Don't
it, you new bombshells.
No one gets between. Well, okay, here's the thing though. There's a large contingent of the internet who is like begging for Nick and Alondria to be together.
Look.
And I forgot to mention this when we did the twerking. When Alondria is twerking, all of the men are like looking away out of like respect for her and for Taylor. Taylor also looks away, but Nick was locked in. Nick did not turn away. And so the Nicolandria truthers are really clinging to that.
No one is allowed to get between my Nick and Sierra except for Alandria potentially. So we'll see how it goes. If they could just all like form a little throuple, that would be great for me personally. But
I would like to see it.
not these bombshells. These bombshells are not allowed. I'm sorry. The
No.
TJ and Sierra conversations, like it was fine. And I think that this goes back to Nick being like, Sierra's so easy to talk to. Oh my God. Like TJ is finding the same exact thing. They're talking about like Jordan versus LeBron. He calls his dad super old.
Which to be fair, he's 23 and his dad is 72. That's a pretty old, that's older than my dad, and I'm 32.
Yeah, so same. So it is much older. He is, look, sure, but I still would not be like thrilled to hear my child be like, oh yeah, they're super old.
He basically is like, oh, my parents are so old. I really have to prove to them that I can be a success and have a family before they're gone because they're so old.
Oh, my parents are just like about to die. Got to make a family just because of that.
Okay, so why are you here? If it's so imminent, go home.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I do think, unfortunately, there was a little bit of chemistry, honestly, on both halves of these connections.
Yeah.
TJ and Sierra first, and even Sierra admits it, that even though her and Nick are connecting so well, why would she cut herself off from a connection that's growing that seems to be good? I personally think this is going nowhere. I would be pretty surprised to see them break up at this point. We have to remember they literally like just had sex last night. So it would be pretty surprising if they break up immediately.
And I mean, that's what happened with Jeremiah and Huda.
Oh, don't tell me it's the kiss of death, because Hannah and Pepe could go soon too.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's gonna be fine. And I think specifically because, you know, Nick confided in Ace about not performing to what he would have wanted to. I think he's gonna want another kick at the can to prove that he can last longer. And so I think that then Sarah and Nick will continue to have intimate moments, and that will also bond them together more, perhaps.
A kick at the can sounds like a terrible euphemism, so I'm really glad that we're just moving right on from that one.
Well, yeah, I was hoping that we could just not go into that.
Look, but otherwise, you know, I think that Nick is happy to make out with Adriana at a challenge, but I do not think that it's probably going to progress anywhere, because I do think that Jeremiah and Andreina are having a better conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And Jeremiah and Andreina have a lot in common because he's only had one relationship. She's never been in a relationship.
Which
And
was so funny for him to be like, yeah, I've only had one relationship, and she says I've had none, and he's like, what? Like, as
no,
if it's so many fewer.
but I think this is the thing where our brains are so rotted that we can't just like call something what it is, because like, okay, Jeremiah thinks he's had one relationship. How many women think they've been in a relationship with
Yeah,
Jeremiah? It's probably more than one.
that was
Um,
exactly it, because Jeremiah has told 10 women that he loves them.
yeah.
So like, and you had one relationship?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not clicking. And then Andreina is like, well, I don't do one night things, like I don't do like whatever. And it's like, but like you're not a virgin. So
Yeah.
if you're not doing one night things, but you're not a virgin, then you've had some sort of relationship, depending on what you call, like this situationship
I mean,
pandemic has gone too far.
I guess technically we have not confirmed whether or not she is a virgin. She didn't really explicitly
I
state it
guess she
coming into
didn't
the villa.
say, but it doesn't, I don't get the vibe.
It doesn't sound like it, but we didn't explicitly talk about
I
it.
mean, but if a virgin's going on Love Island, they're going to make them say it.
Oh, immediately. It's in the intro package.
So I think we can take that as confirmation.
Yeah, and they're talking about how like maybe I'll lose it in the house, like in the villa. Like that is part of the package.
And they don't have a choice about it. They like
Nope.
they're a hostage in that moment when they say it. Um,
Exactly. But otherwise,
but
I
they
do
do.
think they're connecting.
Yeah, they seem to have really good chemistry. They seem to have good conversations. They make out outside of the challenge, so that's a good kind of vibe for them. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Can I say, speaking of hostage situations, Austin and Amaya doesn't seem to be going very good.
I know, okay, I'm actually so pissed off about this because this is
I
some bullshit from Austin. I'm sorry.
Wow, bullshit from Austin. I am personally shocked.
I
So let's
Yeah,
talk.
okay. So yeah, let's get into it. So they're now coupled up for the first time. It seems like they're getting along really well. They cuddle up for their first night. Austin says like, "Oh, it's like we've been together for 6 years. We got 2 kids and we're trying to have more." And it's like, "Okay, it seems like everyone's really into this. This is all good." And then Austin goes, and I can't, who did Austin even tell this to? I can't even
Jeremiah.
remember. Austin goes to Jeremiah and is like, "Oh, everything's moving so fast with Amaya. Like she's just so much. I just don't know. Oh, I don't know if I like her that much." Mind you, Amaya goes to Austin and says, like, am I moving too fast? Are you uncomfortable when I call you babe? Gives him the clear opportunity without hurting her feelings to say, actually, this is a bit much. Can we slow down and take it, day by day? And he says, no, I'm not uncomfortable. She says, tell me if there's anything. I would never want to do anything to make you uncomfortable. Like, tell me if there's anything. He says, no, there's nothing that's uncomfortable. Like, I love your energy. I'm just not used to it yet. So either he's a liar to Amaya and this is so mean to her, or he's lying to Jeremiah because he wants to seem cool to the bros. And either way, screw you.
He's lying to Amaya. I'm gonna say one of us clocked Amaya being a little bit much as soon as she came into the villa, and I do feel like I've not been not proven correct on that. But I will say Austin is allowed to feel that Amaya is a little bit much and things are moving too fast. What he's not should not be allowed to do is go around the villa and making her look really bad as if it's something that he's discussed with her and told her how he's uncomfortable, and she's continuing to do these things. And so he like is blatantly telling her the opposite. He's like, I wouldn't say uncomfortable. It's just I love your energy. I'm just not used to it yet. But that's not what he's saying to other people. And when you do that, you make people look like really big creeps on TV. And that's not what we should be doing when they are, in fact, not being a big creep because of what you are telling them otherwise.
Well, and I think that as we're getting to see Amaya more on the show, I like, sure, she's exuberant, right? But I think
Word.
honestly, she's a star. She's
Oh, I
literally
really
a
like her.
star.
I
She
I
has
enjoy her as a TV
shot
character.
up the like fan rankings online. I've started getting so many like fan cams of Amaya Papaya and like Amaya Papaya mentality and energy. And
Yeah.
the clips are so funny. Like when she goes to walk out into the kitchen, this was a few episodes ago, and she sees that Ace is the only one in there, and she just like slowly backs away. Like she's funny. And she got such a disservice done to her by the way Ace treated her when he coupled up with her. And really, Ace kind of went out of his way to make her seem crazy to everyone else just so that no one else would really show interest in her. And then we finally saw, oh, it looks like Austin and her really get along and like each other. This feels like it could be something real, only for Austin to kind of turn around and do the exact same thing. Like, not exactly, like, same thing, different font kind of situation,
Yeah,
right?
that I can agree with.
Of like going out of his way to talk about her behind her back. Like, at least Ace was rude to her face.
Yeah,
Austin's lying to her face and like kind of making her seem crazy. And I just feel so bad for her because she's had such a ridiculous experience in the villa for truly no reason.
That I agree with. Like, I still don't know that I would rush to be best friends with Amaya, but I really enjoy her as a TV character. I see lots and lots of standing mastermind Amaya orchestrated Charlie's eviction from Love Island. People are all about her. And so, like, yeah, I agree. I am down to have her crying her head off when someone's getting eliminated. It's very funny. And I am very interested. Like, I actively hope she makes it to Casa Amor, because I think that would be interesting, watching her like have so much energy but having to juggle it between 6 different people potentially could be very fun. So I enjoy her on the show. I think Austin like can feel this way, should be communicating it with her, and is doing an active disservice to them both. I'm not rooting for
Yes.
them as a couple whatsoever.
Agree completely. Yeah, and I want to be very clear.
Sure.
Obviously, Austin's allowed to feel uncomfortable and not appreciate how she's acting. Like,
Yeah.
that is would never be the problem. But just the way that
Sure.
he's operating to make her seem kind of insane, I really do not like.
Yeah.
Um,
The
we for sorry, we forgot to mention though with the Nick, Sierra, TJ of it all. TJ brings Sierra tea in the morning, and when Nick brings up breakfast to Sierra, he sees the tea and goes, "Oh, he brought you tea? Like, not on my watch," and takes the tea away.
He literally was like, "Get the hell out of here. Fuck this." Like, absolutely not. Is it mature? No. Is it petty? Yes. Is it toxic? Like, maybe even a little bit. I liked it.
But is it good TV? Yes.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It made me like Nick more. Like, we're not doing this. Absolutely
Well,
not. Get
and
TJ, get out of here.
it made me think like, okay, he likes Sierra more than what we're even seeing because he
Yep.
would feel
Well,
like strongly enough. Because I don't see Nick as operating just for TV, and maybe I'm blinded, but I feel like he is kind of
I
moving in a
agree.
genuine way.
I agree. And I do think this is the morning after they had sex. So I think it was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. Like, absolutely not. You are not getting tea from another man after the best 25 seconds of Nick's life. It's not happening. The only other thing I have that we forgot was Huda and TJ's conversation. I don't think is particularly good. She is self-admittedly out of the flirting game after 3 days of being single in the villa, and has seemingly forgotten how to flirt at all. She does this thing where Jeremiah thought was so cute, but I do not think TJ does, where she's like, "Oh, really? You think I'm a good kisser? Really? You do?" It's like, yeah, I just complimented you. "Oh, you're gonna pull me tomorrow? Really? You're gonna pull me? You're gonna do it?" He's like, "Yeah, I just said I'm gonna pull you tomorrow." Like, stop. It's annoying.
Yeah, like when she goes, "Oh, should I pull you tomorrow or are you gonna pull me?" Like that, fine, perfect.
Yep.
Leave it at that. And he goes, "Oh, I'll pull you." Awesome. Okay, sounds good. See you tomorrow. Like, let's leave a little mystery. Like, why
Yep.
are you interrogating him?
Yeah, it's just like too much flirting. I think it's like she said, someone who doesn't know how to flirt is now being forced to and is really overperforming.
Yeah, but I
So,
also
yeah.
just feel like it's crazy because I would say I don't know how to flirt, but I would know better than that.
It's look, some real extreme levels of bad flirting, I
Yeah,
think.
it's really, really bad.
But at the same time, uh, TJ could end up with Iris, but we'll see. The only thing I have left is we got to vote.
Yes, so this was a vote for your favorite boy and your favorite girl, regardless of couple. And the islander with the fewest votes will be vulnerable to be dumped from the island. An additional fact to this as well is that the top voted boy and girl, I believe, will be sent on a date together. So I think there's a good chance Nick and Alondra are getting sent on a date.
I agree, and I am not mad at it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'd love to see it, but also but just bring Sierra on the date. Like, well, you could all three go. It's
Why
fine by
not?
me. Well, like, why not? What's the problem? I did my proxy since as a Canadian citizen, I'm not allowed to vote myself. Yeah, I voted for Huda and Jeremiah because I think it'd be really funny if they got sent on a date because I'm toxic and that's fine.
Yeah. Remember when I said I never claimed not to be toxic? I voted to save Huda and Pepe because for me, I feel like Pepe is the most at-risk guy of going home. Just being, is he the only non-OG that was eligible for this vote? I think that's a terrible spot to be in. So
Yeah.
I am a little worried about him going home. I think I like him more than you. Not that I am like Stan Pepe, but
I just when
I
he said the thing about personality, it really rubbed me the wrong
I
way.
get that. I get that. I didn't interpret it exactly the same, but I think that that is a fair interpretation. I would personally rather have him in the villa than a couple of other people. Definitely Austin, probably Taylor and Jeremiah. Honestly, I would rather have Pepe in this villa at this point. I think he's bringing more to the show. So I voted for him, and I voted for Huda because I know none of you are going to appreciate the drama that she is bringing. So I do, and I'm sorry, but I think Iris got to go.
Yeah, I know I don't have again I don't have the app because I'm not allowed, but I do think that the voting percentages have been
I don't think we can
uh
see them.
I saw someone saying who like what 15% of people voted for Iris. So I do think that they might be there. And allegedly Iris got like 15% of the vote, which feels
Huh.
fake and wrong to me.
Interesting. And maybe that's like a poll like on the side of
Oh
it
yeah, I'm sure it's just a poll. Yeah. That
because
makes sense.
but I'm nervous. I really don't want to lose some like big drama, especially like we are complaining about how few couples there are on the show, and not that I think that Pepe and Hannah are like the strongest couple, but I'm not trying to necessarily break up one that I have see more potential in right away. So yeah, I'd rather lose some people that are extraneous.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll see kind of how it goes. I wish that they had just like only sent in like one male bombshell and then everyone just coupled up and then they went to
Yep.
Casa Amor.
Well,
Because yeah.
yeah, we say that, but then that would mean only TJ was here and not on not on Gina.
Yeah,
So
but like Andriana can come in at any point and have success. I'm worried about my girl Huda.
yeah, so am I. So hopefully I thought they were going to be like vote for your favorite couples, which I still think may have put some couples that I liked at danger more than others.
Mhm.
But I thought Huda would be immune, and that's not the case.
Yeah,
So
I'm upset about that because I like fun.
I think the audience is very happy about that. Every time that there has been a vote that Huda has been saved by, the polls are like 98% angry about the decision.
And that 98% of people's wrong and they should feel bad about being wrong for it.
If you had to predict, who are we losing?
I'm scared we might lose Huda.
We're losing Huda. I'm pretty sure it could be Iris. I do think there's a chance, and I do think we're losing Pepe. I don't even know who else we would lose at this point.
Yeah, I
Maybe
because
Jeremiah.
that's the thing too. Even if it's like, oh, the bottom two is like Jeremiah and Pepe, then I assume the Islanders will vote. And then, well, are we losing both or are we just losing one person?
We might just lose one person.
And then I think it would just be Huda, which makes me really sad.
I mean, I would prefer it's just Iris personally, but
Well,
and that's
yeah.
nothing against Iris. I'm not invested in her as a show, as a person on the show. I've enjoyed the content I've seen her friends have put out of like her getting ready for Love Island and all this stuff. She seems great. Had she been in someone I got to know more, I would be more invested, but this is just where I'm at currently.
Yeah, and I do think a lot of that is our own fault for voting for her to couple with Jeremiah, and so I do feel a little bad about
I
that,
don't
but
take the blame.
also if she was a real star of the show, she would have given us more in that moment. Like, I think she's just like a very normal, nice, chill person, and I want to see crazy people.
Yep, same.
So yeah, that's it. Week 3 of Love Island USA is in the books. We'll be starting week 4, well, on Sunday.
Momentarily.
But we would like to literally tomorrow. But we will be back recapping after the Tuesday night episode. So stay tuned for that. You can follow everything with this pod at weknowloveisland.com. Please rate and review us. We Know Love Island. We are over 100 ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. We actually jumped up to 146, Scally.
Which tells me that many of you are sitting and thought for a little while, like, oh, we'll just let someone else do the reviewing, which is, look, those of you that are reviewed, I appreciate it so much. But now I think we can make another big jump in reviews. And so I would like to see a considerable jump before we get to next time. If people have not, please go rate this 5 stars over on the We Know Love Island feed. Write whatever you want there. I'm happy. I'm reading every single one of them. So that are 5 stars. So make sure to do that.
It's so crazy. We can't see them. If the stars are less than 5, it's just like when the adults and Peanuts are talking. I can't read it. So sorry. But yes. Thank you very much for the reviews so far. We deeply appreciate them, and we want more.
Please. I'm a very greedy with the reviews.
we can't help it. But Scally, in the meantime, if people want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
All right. Well, people can find me over on the Free Agents podcast with Matt Ligori, talking about all of the old school challenge seasons, doing a full rewatch, as well as drafting a couple things, House of Villains, Survivor 50, and even The Traitor season 4 with Rob Cesternino on there. Myself, Matt Ligori, and Puya got together to talk about that. So go jump over as that's released. And then otherwise, anything I'm doing will be on Twitter at Brian_Scally, on Blue Sky at Brian Scally, on Twitch at twitch.tv/bscally. Kirsten, what do you have going on?
Yes, you can follow me everywhere at Kirsten Said What. This week on Mess Magnets, we actually did a re-release from the vault from June of 2022 when the aforementioned Rob Cesternino was on Mess Magnets, and we did an Oops All Anonymous. So we have brought that one back out for everyone who maybe missed it at the time to check out. So you can go to messmagnets.com to see all of that. And that's really it for me right now. We're less than 3 weeks away from Big Brother, so keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. And we'll be back on Tuesday night to break down the first bit of Casa Amor. Thanks for listening.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.